Test, test.
Me, mo, me, mo.
Test. Ah.
Yeah! Gun control!
America, fuck yeah! Coming out to save the motherfucking day, yeah!
America! Fuck yeah! Welcome back, everybody, to Whiskey and Wifi. I'm here with Robbie Chesterfield,
Hey, everybody.
who is very, very energized today. And my name
Woo!
is Derek Fareed, and we're gonna talk about guns and pistols and AK-47.
Oh, yeah! Turns me on! I love it! I love it!
Woo!
Oh!
Robbie is stroking a massive rifle right now.
Oh, it's so hard!
It is very uncomfortable.
And veiny!
But we're glad that you're back, listening to us shout at you. So, what's been going on in your life? We took a week off for Easter, you know. How's life been? Woo! Obviously not a softball question for Rodney. Well, I was happy that baseball season started, so I had that distraction, you know, keeping me away from the news. And
Life's been great.
Good. Okay.
I'm back.
He's back. He's here. So, what's not been great, though, is some of the things that we saw in the recent weeks with, policemen kind of shooting some folk. And last
shoot people in the back.
And then some guy in California yesterday got, pounced on and beaten in front of the cameras. And
Beat him with your nightstick good.
So we gotta
Beat
talk
him
about
with
that.
your nightstick good.
Oh yeah, it's like real reality TV. You know, that's why it's so interesting to watch, right? I don't know. I just like that.
I don't know what's happening right now. It's light out. I'm not used to doing this when it's light
Yeah,
out.
it is weird. It's a Saturday afternoon and it's really nice out, but we're in here drinking like the
For
fools
you.
we are.
We're doing it for you.
We're doing it for you.
The listeners.
For America.
Team America.
Woo!
I don't know.
Also, you got Rand Paul jumping into the race this week. That's kind of exciting. Hillary's going to announce tomorrow, but we all knew that. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're headed into in the near future.
Are
That's
you
gonna be
honestly
fun.
excited that you only get one choice? That apparently everyone else is being told no one else can run. No one else run. No one else.
I mean, that's how it works. So what are we
Is
gonna
it
do?
this early? Usually there's
usually
a
there's
few
more
people. There's usually at least
I'm-
a couple.
I'm really surprised on the Democrat side because they did a poll and everyone's like 60% for Hillary, and there's like 4 other people and they're getting like 3 or 5%. And I'm like,
There's 4 other people?
oh yeah, you got Bernie Sanders, who's technically independent, and then Warren, I think not Al Gore, Joe Biden. They asked people.
Joe Biden's running? He's not running.
They just poll people, I think, on the Democratic side to see like who would people like
Is he
support.
running? He's funny.
Joe Biden is.
He should just
He's like,
run.
like
He just
I wouldn't
tries
be
to.
my
He just tries
grandpa.
to make out with everyone.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the vice
He's like,
president.
hey,
I'm old.
He talks with like deep, sexy voice. He gets up and hey.
He's kind of like,
There's so many awkward moments of him being really close to women,
yeah, he
and
doesn't
they
hold
look
back.
creepy.
And like, especially the younger women are like, what is this guy doing?
But I don't think all of them are him trying to be creepy. Some of them, I don't know what's going on, but oh, that guy, he makes me laugh.
He's like our version of, he's like our Bush sometimes. What the things he says and does. I'm just like, you just said that, didn't you? Good job, Joe. And then sometimes I see Obama and him together, and I see Obama just kind of like rolling his eyes and like, oh God, Joe's talking again. Here we go. But,
You love it. Derek loves it.
I do.
Derek loves it.
I love the show.
He loves all the bullshit.
It's a good show.
It's a great
American
show.
politics.
Stay distracted. Don't acknowledge that we're on the same team and we're fucking you in the asshole.
That's how it works, man. So, we all know that.
The
But
red
let's-
team and the blue team.
Yeah, it's the purple team.
Yeah,
We
it
need,
is.
we need a green team or What's another color here? Red's kind of bad, but... Oh, red's already... Yeah, never mind. I'm drunk. That's the Republicans. Anyway.
Green team?
Green team?
There's your green party. So
Yeah.
I guess there already is a green team.
Oh, that's what I was suggesting. There's subtly. Not so subtly.
What color should we be? Clear team? The clear team!
You know, I had an idea.
It's the clear team because we're clear!
I think it would be
Clear on our ideas!
I don't think we could get away with it, but I think we could, like, if two people more intelligent than us did it, I think it'd be funny. Like, if we both ran for the same office, being one person, quote-unquote, Republican, one person Democrat, and then we debated each other for, like, a local seat, I feel like it'd be very entertaining to have us, like, legitimately trying to run for office. They're just making fun of the system. But send us some messages. If you'd like us to do that, I'll get to run for political office. But, well, maybe people shouldn't run, especially from police, because then they get beat or shot. What do you think about that? Let's just take a hard left turn into
Getting shot
police
in the fucking back.
brutality. See, this one's pretty bad, you know. Like,
I don't like it. I don't like it, Derek.
Yeah,
I don't like it one bit.
It's hard to
I
like.
don't like
what
when
happened.
people shoot other people in the fucking back.
I mean, how could you like that? I mean,
I don't like when people beat people with their batons.
No. So, do you think it's a bigger problem? Some people think it's systemic. Like, there's been a lot of
People
stories
shooting
lately.
people in the back?
Well, see, that's just one incident, you know, right? Not everyone's shooting each other in the back.
I think if you're going to shoot someone, it has to be in the face or in the front of their chest.
That's
Because
usually
they're attacking you and there's a threat, right?
Well,
Shoot them in the face.
If you watch the video, and I don't suggest you do, I just
No,
know
I'm not watching that video.
I walked into the room and it was just playing on the TV. I'm like, oh, that's something I wanted to see today. Someone getting murdered.
Shoot him in the face! But they shot, he shot him seriously 8 times?
Yeah. For me, he could have easily run down the guy instead of shooting him, or he could have tased him. And
Did it take all 8 shots to put him down?
I don't think so.
He just kept shooting him?
No, I think he missed like the first 4.
Oh, so he shot 8 times.
Yeah.
So he didn't shoot the guy 8 times?
No, I don't think so. Because when you actually watch the video, the guy is kind of like running for a little while until like, the 8th shot finally takes him down or whatever happened.
Oh.
But still, that's a lot of shooting. And the Ferguson thing too, even though the guy got cleared, when you listen to the audio they supplied, it just seemed like there was too many shots. Like, why would you shoot that many times? If you're trying to subdue somebody, not murder them. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know how to train to shoot people. I feel like you'd shoot them in the leg first, but then you can kill somebody that way too. If you get
I think it's
female.
shoot to kill.
Yeah. I don't know. This guy was definitely not threatening. He was just running. That's the trouble.
It didn't come out. He was running from a warrant. Why are we laughing? It's just because we're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's running from a warrant because he didn't pay his child support.
Yeah, he had a warrant out because he didn't pay his child
It's a
support.
good thing they killed him for that. It's a good thing they killed him for that. I mean, that's
You know, that's what happens, right? You
pay your child support. You get fucking murdered by the police.
know,
It's like the guy from New York who got murdered for for selling Lucy cigarettes. It's like, oh, we'll murder people. That's why you have to be careful. Any law, it's like, oh, we need to make this law, we need to make that law. Any law that you make, even though you think it might be an innocent law, you have to keep in mind that at times people might use deadly force enforcing that law. You don't think they will, because it's like, oh, they'll give them a ticket, but if things escalate,
yeah.
so think about that.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to think about. Now I'm like, what crimes did I commit that I'm going to get shot for?
Yeah.
But I think I'm clean. I think now I'm like, did I pay all my parking tickets? There's some other videos of police recently. There's some guy in New York. I showed a video of the guys kind of entering their apartment without a warrant, which wasn't too bad, but it was kind of shady.
Without a warrant.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Limited. No,
Just
we're coming in anyway.
It was these guys in plain clothes. They had the little badges, but it's just like, I wouldn't trust the person. I'm like, you can't come into my apartment.
I acknowledge the fact that they're looking for someone, so it's like, okay, like they're trying to do an investigation, but they should have done a better job of explaining what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Probably.
They didn't handle that situation very well.
And there was some police officer in New York who pulled over a taxi. It was an Uber driver.
Was his name Blowpig?
Believe you can't call them blow pigs. Be careful with that, Rodney.
No, the taxi driver was his name.
Oh,
Blowpig.
I don't know why it would be, but no, it was not. In fact, if anybody was named Blowpig, I'm pretty sure that'd be big news. It'd be like, idiot, named Blowpig. So this police officer pulls this guy over.
His name is Blowpig.
Officer Blowpig. Wait, no.
No.
Uber driver. Uber driver Blowpig.
Blowpig. It's a pink beetle that's painted like a pig. This is very flamboyant guy named Blowpig.
I like where this is going. So he's all like honking at the police officer because he didn't use his turn signal to park, which probably shouldn't be
Oh,
honking.
I saw this
saw
fucking
the
video.
And the
His
cop
name
was
was Blowpig.
Now you know. I forgot his name. I should have remembered.
Abu Blowpig.
Abu Blowpig. Is that racist?
Yeah, well, didn't the police department try to say it wasn't a police officer, that they would try to disassociate themselves?
Oh, yeah, he might have been like a sergeant or something weird.
I don't know.
Not like a run-of-the-mill kind of on the feet thing, but
That was really bad. It's like, who do you think you are? He was just going
he
crazy.
was very angry and crazy.
Just going nuts. That was
I'm
creepy.
such a weird fellow. Like, if someone yells at me like that, I don't know how to react. So I probably would have started laughing, and he probably would have shot me. I would have been like, I can't help but laugh at you, sir. You're ridiculous right now.
I probably would have just been looking down and just been like,
yeah.
been like this.
He puts his hands up.
Like, you're videotaping this? Okay, good.
This is happening.
Oh, gosh.
That's why I try to
Shoot you in the back of the head.
Look at me! You're not going to look at you, sir.
Your brain explodes all over the dashboard. You're just like, wow, that's how I ended, just being a little pussy. It's like, oh, God,
Oh, man.
don't do it.
But
It's
yeah.
weird, man. It's weird. Some people take authority to a whole new level.
Yeah, and
They're like, I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole. Oh.
I will say it's tough to be a cop, right?
Oh, it's really tough. But I think they have to think about it, like how much stress they're under on a normal day-to-day basis. If we look at these war, or these veterans coming back from these wars overseas, and the PTSD situation that they're facing, there's a tremendous number of suicides. There's just a tremendous number of people that have a lot of issues coming back from that. And then you look at these police officers on a day-to-day basis, they are seeing a lot of terrible things as well, terrible car crashes.
Right.
They're dealing with really bad crime scenes, murders.
There's some sick crimes they got to deal with.
They probably have some PTSD to a certain extent too. Can you imagine doing that for 20, 30 years? And should you do that for 20 or 30 years? Like, really, is the psyche really cut out for that?
Yeah, that's a good point. And you also got to remember, they go to these, you know how they meet in their little rooms and kind of talk about criminals they're looking for and bad
They meet in their
stuff.
little what? What, Derek? Their
Conference
little
rooms?
rooms?
Yeah,
Can you describe these little things?
where they all sit and talk and have
Oh, they
meetings.
sit in little chairs?
There's chairs, there's maybe tables and coffee.
Oh, they have coffee. Isn't that cute there? They have their little coffee, and they sit in their little rooms
And
and their coffee.
And they hear about all those horrible shits. I mean, you gotta be kind of scared when you approach someone and someone starts running, or someone does attack you. I mean, you gotta kind of fear for your life in that situation.
Yeah, but if someone's running away,
Yeah, that's different. But I think this case is more clear cut. Shut up, Ronnie, I'm trying to form a sentence. This case is much more clear cut than like Ferguson, I think. Even the Eric Garner case. Now, Eric Garner was still kind of fucked up because he just put him in a chokehold. And I was like, whoa.
that one was fucked up. I don't even think it was the chokehold part. I think it was the part that there were several times that he said he was having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
And I think, he was obviously having a bit of a panic. He was panicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He's putting a lot of stress on his system. And those police officers just should have acknowledged the fact that, like, he was immobilized just by being on his side.
Mm-hmm.
He was not going anywhere.
No.
That was
They
just
got him down.
ridiculous.
There was like 4 or 5 of them. Right?
Yeah, that was
That was the thing with what happened in California too just now. is the numbers. You had like 4 guys beating on this one guy. And you're just like, whoa, you got him down. Handcuff him.
I don't understand why they can't have body cameras.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that, yeah. So I think that's the big push now is to get body cameras on these people.
I mean, it would protect them.
Yeah.
It would show their innocence and how hard their job is and how they're responding to different. It would protect but the bad ones, it would show them behaving badly. It would say, and then they just have to start putting a line in the sand and say, you're not cut out to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You are, you know?
Yeah, definitely some oversight. And that's the thing. I feel like you can be critical of the cops and still like
Their
support
job's
the cops.
ridiculously hard.
But there's some people out there, you even say anything about cops and like, shut up. Don't know. Yeah, it's okay to like criticize the bad ones and make sure.
The good ones are awesome.
Yeah.
I've had a few situations where I've dealt with the police where I've been the victim of some shitty situations, and I had some cops that didn't give a fuck, or were just like, fuck you, like, don't bother me.
Mm.
And I had another cop that was like, we're going to catch these motherfuckers, and they went and caught them, and it wasn't like, you're not happy, because either way, but at least they're doing, you know.
Doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But
You don't like getting held up at gunpoint.
yeah, that's scary. Those people deserve to go to jail, right? So.
Well, time, yeah. Like, time out.
Yeah, you got to chill.
Think about things.
Yeah, figure yourself out. But
So you caught those people. The other people that robbed me, the guy didn't give a fuck.
that sucks. You got robbed twice?
Yeah.
I thought it was only once. My bad.
Yeah, the house got broken into.
Oh right. Yeah, bastards.
Yeah, people do shitty things.
Yeah, but you can't shoot them.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I think, and that's kind of going into what we wanted to talk about today. So that's a good segue.
Mm-hmm.
It's guns and gun control and when it's appropriate to use a firearm and when it's not. And guns are, in my opinion, my humble opinion, guns are tools like anything. And I believe in training. I believe in proper technique. And then if you educate people and give them tools and give them the proper training, they'll use them in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And
so how many guns do you use to masturbate?
huh? Masturbation with guns is dangerous, Derek, and I would not do that. That's not.
I don't know, you just sound like a gun lover all of a sudden.
That's not the proper use of a firearm.
You just want people walking around with guns all the time, shooting at each other like the Wild Wild West? Isn't that what you're
No,
saying?
that's not it at all. I believe that if people are properly trained and properly taught how to handle firearms, we'll all be safer because there's a lot of them already around. And this whole idea that we're going to get rid of them all of a sudden is a completely ridiculous idea. And yes, I think we can improve the way in which guns are distributed. Like we'll get into this, I'm sure, about there possibly being maybe some sort of training or licensing procedure, but we don't know how that would work. But I don't think just taking them, trying to be like, oh, we got to take these away and take them off the street. That's a ridiculous idea.
Well, in such modern times now, it's like, what's the real purpose of a gun? And it feels like murder or hunting. Going, nobody needs to hunt anymore. But now I'm just playing devil's advocate. So he's looking at me like, yeah, I'm going to smack you. But I'm trying to make a more solid case for people who want to get rid of guns completely. Because I'm like, we don't need guns anymore, right?
What are you talking about? Did you read the news and how many conflicts are going on right now? Just because it's not going on right here, right now, you're like, oh, no, but let's not use guns. Oh, because there hasn't.
If we just round up everybody and be like, we're all going to be peaceful adults now and stop shooting each other, so let's just burn them all up, make them into playgrounds.
You have looked through history at the countries that have done that and realized what's going on in those countries usually afterwards, right? Tyrannical governments have taken over and persecuted, slaughtered.
Now, Rodney, let's calm down here.
You know the Holocaust when they disarmed all of them and took all of their stuff and just led them to fucking death camps, right? That's the type of
It's
shit.
always back to the Nazis. Whenever we have arguments about this, it's always Hitler did this and Hitler did that.
It's not just Hitler. That was just one example.
I guess what Stalin probably
Stalin
did.
did the same thing, yeah.
The reality of my belief is I actually used to be very like, people don't need guns. And for me, personally, and this is not conspiracy theory, but it's kind of like when I was out in the streets of Occupy and they raided the camp that night, and we were dealing with militarized police forces, I'm like, maybe we should have guns. I know it's crazy to think the government's coming after you. I'm not saying that, but the idea for the Second Amendment was to protect yourself from the government.
Right. That's a great point. And I'm so glad you went here. Because remember right before we started, you were talking about that situation down in Texas. Or was it Texas where that ranch?
That was Nevada.
Nevada?
Yeah.
Thank you. Wherever that was. Yeah. That ranch hand.
There was a ranch handler that, like,
I don't
harmed himself
understand.
against the government, if you don't remember.
It wasn't just him. I think it was a lot of people just went there, right?
Yeah.
But, like, look at the outcome of that. They fucking left them alone. They left.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened? I'm not supporting armed standoffs. I don't think that's a good thing. But that's an interesting point. If everyone just had like a sidearm with them, and it was just like that was a common thing, and not that I'm supporting that even.
Right.
It would have been interesting. Just like how would that have changed? Like
Yeah. I'm a nonviolent guy.
Yeah. Peace and love. I am too.
Yeah.
Cheers to that. Let's cheers to peace.
I don't have anything, so it's bad luck. But cheers without anything in my glass.
All right, so we're going to take a little pause. There's going to be a little elevator music.
All right, we're back. So, like we were talking about, Occupy for me, that experience really, it scared me because I could have gotten hit with rubber bullets or gas or something that night. Very eye-opening experience to actually be part of something like that, by the way.
That'd be weird. Yeah, I'm glad I haven't had that happen.
Yeah.
I did have a police paddy wagon chase me down one time, but it wasn't.
Really? It was like a sports event or something like that?
No. It wasn't a sports event.
Sometimes, yeah.
It was a park. It was a park, and it was rainy.
Oh. It's dark. It's dark. But yeah, like you were saying, I want to make the point that I don't want people like warring with the government or something like that. Because there's actually people out there in the States who have little groups that are like preparing for war with like almost civil war kind of thing. I'm like, that's too far. And then those are the people I don't want to have guns. I'm like, well, that person shouldn't have a gun because they're going to do something really bad. So,
well, that's, I think, the reason we like this show is it's just getting people to talk because you don't want things to get to that point.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem is people aren't talking about their problems, and like to even think about that it needs to get to that point is ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of the reason why I think it's okay to have guns is one. I mean, you talk about taking away hunting. I think that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, people like to hunt.
That idea is crazy.
Right.
I think people should always be able to harvest animals in a humane. I mean, hunters look to kill basically instantaneously. I mean, it's a way in which if you're looking at dying, right? I mean, how do you want to die? I mean, die in your sleep sounds good, or just like something happening that you're not knowing. And it's death. It seems like a thing that's it's just part of life, and life needs life to survive. And you should be able to harvest animals. I think through hunting. I think that's an idea that needs to totally go away. But also then self-defense, protecting your family. So let's say you take away the guns from the law-abiding people. Let's put some laws in place that takes firearms away from people that generally follow the laws. So who does that leave firearms in the hands of? Government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Police, whatever, military. And criminals, people that are saying fuck the laws, black markets where you can still find them, and that's a problem today.
Right.
It leaves firearms in the hands of those people. So law-abiding citizens, all of a sudden, I mean, you're really in the hands of the criminals and the government then in their ability to protect you. And
criminals and the government, aren't they the same thing?
Aren't they?
No? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're not. I'm having a tough time finding my words, but I mean...
No, that's right. If you take away the things from the good people, you just create the black market for all the bad people to like control you with.
That's kind of what happens with drugs right now.
Yeah, the drugs and alcohol back in the day when they did the prohibition.
And I don't think the way we handle firearms is necessarily the best it can be. It can always be better. But I think more training and if more intelligent people had a good understanding of how firearms... A lot of people that I don't appreciate firearms and are scared of firearms, I think are people that have no experience handling them or dealing with them. None at all.
I was the one that kind of mentioned this before the show when we were talking about it. I've always been a gun control guy because, to be honest, like, they intimidate me and they scare me, and so if I'm scared of them, I'm scared of other people having them. That's just an honest point that I think other people who might not think about it that way probably share with me. You know, us hippie liberals.
It's like vaginas, since you don't have one, you're scared of vaginas.
What is that thing? I think there's a lot of people who don't understand guns or the gun culture.
Not that I'm an expert.
There's a lot of people who think hunting is a weird thing to do. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should judge people who hunt necessarily, but people think it's weird.
I mean, the only people that I think can really think it's weird are people that completely don't eat meat. Anyone who eats meat and thinks hunting's weird, it's like, what do you think's happening here? The animal is getting killed, and I mean, animals that are harvested through hunting, through free range, where it's like they lived a peaceful life, loving life, and when you harvest it correctly, I'm not talking about killing a mother with a bunch of babies around them. I mean, that's not the way to hunt. I mean, doing it the right way. It's like hunting older males and doing it so the populations are controlled properly, and you're not over killing or anything like that. Hunting's a more humane way of harvesting meat probably than large factory farms. Certainly, I would assume.
So points.
So people that eat meat are like, oh, hunting's so gross, and then it's like if it's a really skilled hunter, which I think most hunters aspire to be, and that's what through good training and practice, that's what it brings you. It's only I mean, if someone doesn't eat meat, I can see them saying, oh, it's a gross thing, but other than that, it's like, go fuck yourself. If you eat meat and you think hunting's fucking weird, like, you're a fucking complete asshole. Like,
on that note, if you're a bastard hunter who's poaching and doing, like, we have rules in Pennsylvania to hunt properly. I heard stories lately of people poaching and doing things they shouldn't. Like, I don't like that personally, because like you said, you're trying to control a population. You're trying to do it a certain way, so it's kind of organized and beneficial to everybody hunting and the deer population or whatever you're hunting. So be responsible.
Be responsible when you kill your animals.
Now, if you wanted to go kill a deer with an AK-47, like, I didn't know you had to get certain permits to get AK-47s or something.
No, you don't.
But,
no, semi-automatic AK-47 you don't need a permit for.
Again, with automatic weapons and stuff.
No, but that's not an automatic weapon. That's a semi-automatic weapon. It's just with a larger magazine.
Yeah, that's where I start questioning too. Like, do people really need to have those?
Why not?
Why would you? Well, that's a personal choice. I'm like, why would you want one to begin with? And B, like, what are you shooting with that?
You can go to the range.
Yeah. See, and then I just think, like, what kind of brain is like obsessed with like shooting? Like, I'm shooting something. I'm like, sure.
Well, whose brain's obsessed with just running into someone else to try to get a ball?
What do you mean? Like, that's
I just mean anyone's hobby.
Yeah.
Like if someone's hobby is shooting guns and they like that, it's whatever. I'm just like football. Like people like slamming into each other and actually causing brain damage for a ball, and we're all like celebrate that, and that causes a lot of bodily harm. It's just, I mean, so if it's a hobby and it's just something that you like to do, and people say, oh, well, why do you need that? Why do you need to have a weapon that has the ability to fire multiple rounds? Why can't you have it? If it's put in people's hands that are trained properly.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it takes a certain person to want that. And then I don't trust that quote-unquote certain person.
Most crimes and most murders, I believe, are actually perpetrated with handguns.
Right.
If you're looking at firearms. So even the argument to take away those types of weapons, it's like it's a very small percentage of crimes and weapons that are even happen because of those types of weapons. Because most of those are owned by people that actually really respect them, know how to operate them, and aren't considering doing any crime or injustice. Or that might not be the right word, but
it's true. But then I sometimes feel like these situations work themselves out sometimes, and like I saw a story last week where somebody shot themselves in the ass at church, and like that person probably
that was with a handgun, though.
Yeah. I'm just bringing it back to the point where I'm like,
that was not by good training.
Yeah, the people who aren't trained probably have bad things.
And that was something we brought up earlier, and I don't think we've actually talked about it. Was this idea that I think, okay, if you can drive a car, but you take some tests, right? You take some training. Your parents teach you. You have to put in so many hours, and then you get licensed to drive a car. It seems like it would make logical sense for it. If you want to purchase certain firearms, there'd be certain training that's required with it, and maybe a test that you have to take to then be licensed to be like, okay, now you can buy said firearm. That seems like it would make sense. It's just how do you get there? How do you figure that out without there being a lot of government intervention where government gets to control how that works?
Yeah, it does get a little weird.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
It gets a little weird when the government's hands are on too much. But yeah, it does. I was supporting the idea of like an IQ test to have a gun. It's like, you just don't want some people to have a gun. I just feel that way. And I know it's not very freedom or liberty or whatever you would call it.
They already don't like everyone having a gun.
That's true. But that's a good point you bring up, because when all these school shootings happen and people are like, we need to do more to control the gun situation, and then you look at actually what's out there and like, well, we are doing stuff to control the gun population.
There's a lot of less violence, actually. If you look at the real numbers, there's less and less violence in a lot of civilized society.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of social unrest in lots of parts of the world. And one of the other reasons why I think firearms are, in this day and age, unfortunately, at the point where we are, the point in social evolution where we find ourselves, where I think there can be a point where guns will seem, weaponry will always be important. An ability to defend yourself, to harvest food, that will always be important. We'll find better technologies, and eventually we will probably evolve past where we are today, right? And weapons won't be seen quite like they are today. But where we are, there's that need to be able to defend yourself quickly and timely. And people like to dismiss that and say, oh, well, you know, what, like against your own government? It's like, well, maybe if you have a tyrannical government, yes, you look at some of the instability that's going on in the world where you have these fucking crazy governments that are really doing awful things, and we don't have that here. No, we don't. Yeah. And it's not saying we are I'm not saying we should be arming ourselves. No, things are fucking awesome here. People need to fucking relax and
chill out, bro.
Chill the fuck out. Things are good here. We have a very good government in most sense of the world. I'm sure we have corruption in certain areas, but most of the time it's good. Sorry,
No, go.
But
go rants.
But still, like, we need to be able to defend ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And that's just going back to where I was trying to get to. Is some people say, oh, well, we have, drones, or we have, this huge government, so what are you ever going to...
Something to say, man. We talk about gun control, man. I'll tell you what, man. What we need to do is control who we're giving the guns to, because, like, you want real gun control, man. We'll start giving guns to the enemy, man. Like, ISIS is getting our guns, right? Doesn't that... like, don't we give weapons to people in other countries? I'm trying to take it a whole different direction. Like...
Yeah, because I was having trouble putting my thoughts together because I drank too much.
I was just trying to make a connection to gun control, and we're giving guns to people in other countries, and the terrorists get their hands on them.
Terrorists, but okay, I mean, if you want to go there, if you want to look at ISIS and the destabilization of the Middle East, I mean, that's a failed foreign policy in general, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, we certainly have proxy wars where we give guns, ammunition, training to people in order to influence foreign policy. Right. That's going to a totally different place, and I'm talking about gun control in this country.
Right.
We were talking about more domestic, but if you want to talk about foreign gun policy and ISIS.
Well, you don't have to. I was just trying to make the point.
I would love to talk.
My point was like, we're all looking inside, man, but we don't know what's going on the outside. Trying to be the weird hippie kind of angle.
I started thinking about this recently. The whole Middle East and ISIS. You brought that up, like how they get their guns, where they come from, and you read more and more about it. Have you read it? Like, have you been reading about it's very interesting.
I haven't read as much as I should on ISIS, if that's what you're asking me.
I don't even understand. I don't understand it at all still. But I've been trying to get a better understanding of the difference between Sunni and Shia.
Oh, you mean the religions and stuff?
Yeah, and how those different sects in that power struggle in these regions is, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's just because we agree on the gun control thing. And it really was an evolution for me now that I'm almost 30. It's just kind of like, yeah, when I was younger, I was like, why do we have guns? But now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, we probably should have guns. And then we kind of brought up the terrorism point before. Like, what if, like, some cyber terrorist shuts down the grid or something like that? Which we were saying, maybe that's possible because there was blackouts in D.C. this week. And we're kind of like,
there were blackouts in Turkey not too long ago, and there are blackouts in other areas.
And cyber terrorism is becoming really big, and that's probably the future of terrorism, to be honest.
If not biological,
Yeah.
or
And God forbid nuclear or anything like that. But
I think that through, well, I forget what show I was watching. There's some show I was watching. It was like, I think we should all be scared of someone coming up with some crazy, disease that just fucking wipes a bunch of us fucking out.
oh yeah,
How
that's
easy
true
it would be to
too.
do that. It's like,
Biological
oh
weapons.
God, like, come on, people.
Don't tell me this.
I don't know. You just have to be thankful for every day.
Well, it's just the thing, like, if, or even a natural disaster, like if you live in a hurricane area and like Katrina happens and people start looting, you probably want a gun to at least
Defend
scare
yourself.
off the criminals, but don't mess with me.
Well, that's the thing. It's like a lot of times people dismiss the ability to defend yourself, and it's like, and like, oh, well, you should be able to do it other ways. I'm sorry, if you have like a 115-pound woman and like a 220-pound man,
Mm-hmm.
a 9mm or a 45, it's going to help her a lot if she's trained. She knows how to use it. Like, she can defend herself.
What about
Otherwise,
mace? Or a taser?
Mace or a taser, it doesn't necessarily put someone down.
I'm just saying, like, that would be the argument from the other side.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop someone. I mean, you can tell someone, stop, I have a gun. Like, stop. And if they keep coming, I mean, yeah, you can shoot someone with a taser, but there's plenty of evidence of people with tasers walking through them and being like, ripping them out, or some of the ones where you have to actually have contact. You have to let them get pretty close.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
With mace, I mean, you can close your eyes and keep moving around and trying to find someone. I mean, that's all well and good, but once you're in that position, I think you have to give people the ability to make that decision on their own and live with that decision.
Yeah. I do wonder about, the UK though. 'Cause did they get rid of guns? Or mostly, like their cops don't have guns, right?
Right.
And I'm like, well, it's kind of working over there. So, but then I do get kind of paranoid in the sense I'm like, man, what would happen if the wrong people had the guns and none of us had the guns?
But they still have criminals in the UK that have guns.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, no, that's not good. But
I mean, that's a very good point in terms of the police not using guns.
Mhm.
I mean, because I think our police are definitely over-gunned. I mean, I think we use our firearms in those situations. It seems like they should have them and have them at their disposal, but you look at how often they're deployed and how often deadly force is used, and it's like,
yeah, I don't know. We didn't talk about racism
why does racism have to come into guns?
because, well, during the police shooting part of it, we discussed the angle that.
Oh, I'm going to talk about foreign policy.
On a beautiful Saturday.
What?
On a beautiful Saturday, where you're here nerding out, drinking out, talking about foreign policy.
Just getting real hammered.
So yeah, we were talking about, well, I'm bringing up the racism angle because that's been part of the news is like, are these shootings race related? Like, now crime is disproportionate in areas of color, which some people would say is a problem, but people are feeling like they're being targeted by police in these areas, and I think I really don't know how to feel about that, to be honest, because sometimes, like, I know racist people exist, like, racism is still a thing. I think there's some white people out here like, oh, racism cards being played. I'm like, well, no, some people are still racist. And I think with the Ferguson news, where they did that little investigation, and they're like, found all these racist emails. I'm like, oh yeah, see, people are racist. And then I'm like, my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, he's a racist. I'm like, I know racists exist, so.
There's racists on the all over the place. There's racist white people, there's racist black people, there's racist Hispanic people, and it's
You watch your mouth, sir. You can't say that.
It's important. It's important, I think, for people to. I think it's important for people to be able to feel comfortable to really talk about how they feel.
Right.
I think even if someone's racist, that I think it's good to encourage them to really speak their mind so you can understand why they feel. Why do you feel you hate? Because the last thing we want is people to hide those things until they. I mean, it's a very controversial idea.
I get that a little bit.
I'd rather know someone hates me than be really surprised that someone wants to fucking kill me, like, because of my color, my skin. Like, I'd rather know it, like, hey, like, it's like, okay, don't cross that guy, because he fucking hates white people.
That would be nice to know if someone was out to get.
But then also, so the dialogue's out there, so you can start to have those conversations where you can break down those walls, because that's ridiculous for anyone to hate anyone just because of the color of their skin. Like, any of those ideas are rooted from terrible experiences that happen, and then they associated with just those things happening because of the color of someone's skin.
I found that talking to, like, my ex-brother-in-law, I won't try to get too detailed because that's not nice. But I would say, like, stop saying that word, because he would use the word that you're not supposed to use. And I was very uncomfortable. I'm like, you can't say that, right? And then he described to me why he felt the way he felt. And it was because of childhood trauma. And he grew up in Baltimore, and he was the minority. And so he felt, it was really just this, like, when he explained it, I'm like, oh, so you're just a child who hasn't grown up and realized that this whole class of people isn't in a certain way. It's just because they surrounded you at that point of your life, and you saw them as different. You just kind of attributed those values to everybody. Well, the point is, like you were saying, kind of like people have these bad ideas because of probably personal issues. It's probably something personal within them.
Well, it could be like some people of a certain skin color did something that upset you or was terrible. But it's not. People did that. It had nothing to do with skin color.
Right. I remember trying to explain that to him, and he just didn't want to buy it. And I was just like, whatever. And now he's not part of the family, so
life is good.
It all worked out.
Life is good. Yeah.
But I hate saying this because it's going to be out there now. But I'm just like, sometimes I feel unnecessary heat from the other side because. I don't know. I don't think I'm racist, but sometimes people come off to me and be like, white people are like this and like that. I'm like, oh, not all of us. Like, I'm cool with you, bro. I shouldn't even say that. I feel awkward saying that. I'm an awkward white guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, it's very, it sucks when people are just making general statements like that and just characterizing any group of, we have to just be a lot more open. And, there's a lot of trauma in the world. Life's not easy. And we've all had a different path. And we all make these judgments based off our own experiences. And as we get older, we get more and more closed-minded. Well, at least most of us do.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
And you think you know everything. You think you know everyone. And some of that then turns into this racism. And in terms of violence and gun violence and things like that, it's good to recognize it, and that at least that's starting to happen. Because not starting, it's been happening, but I think the conversation's getting to the point where some change may actually take place.
Yeah, I do just have to reiterate that I get mad that some people they jump to, oh, you're playing the race card, and I do think the media overhypes the race issue sometimes in some issues. Because it gets better ratings.
Oh, inflammatory? Oh, yeah. There's definitely inflammatory journalism.
And that's...
and that's gross.
Yeah. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, that kind of did seem racially charged in some way. And my point is, again, I think racism does exist in some circumstances. It's maybe not all the cases, and sometimes the media overplays it. But sometimes people get mad. They're like, oh, you can't say it's racism. Everyone says it's racism. And that's where I get mad at the news. And we've talked about this before, how the news is, selling you things more than they are telling you the news these days.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
Yeah. But we can go to conspiracy corner now if we want, because, there's people that worry that the government's planning these race wars so they can declare martial law, and they're trying to divide us, and, if we're divided, they won't notice when they take over the world and that kind of crazy shit.
Divide and conquer.
Or they're trying to take our guns because, like you said, Germany, man, they're trying to do that again. So,
I mean,
those conspiracy theories are out there. And
really, conspiracy, who's taking to someone's guns? That's not happening. So,
thank you. That's actually not going to happen.
I mean, no, if that starts happening, like if the government all of a sudden, we're going to have this rally where everyone has to turn their guns in, and then we're going to send you a check for what we deem is the value of that said firearm. Like, that would be scary. That'd be
that'd be a big day.
That would probably turn into a civil war, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I think that would probably come to the point where...
I walk around my neighborhood when there's people with bumper stickers. It's like, you come from a gun, I'm going to shoot you. Like,
I think it's like, you can pry my gun with my cold dead hands.
Or something like that.
I think that's more of a...
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot you. I'm just going to shoot you. Get off my property! But, I mean, part of it, though, is... Well, why... Guns aren't scary. They really aren't.
They're so scary, Rodney. People all shooting and robbing each other.
Are they? Is that what's
Why
happening?
can't we all just get along?
There's less violence in this country.
Oh,
and there's more guns than ever.
But the school shootings, man.
School shootings is that upsetting? Is that intense? Of course it is. But overall, there's not, and a lot of that, I think, is really poor parenting, communities that aren't supporting one another and recognizing someone who needs help.
Yeah, that's my big issue with it. And
there are issues where people aren't, observing what's going on. I mean, it's a lot more than the guns.
Yeah, it's a lot of these crimes that happen with guns, that people want to take guns away from people. Every time I see this, and this is close to me, it's clear to me that it's not a gun problem. I think it's like a mental health problem in this country, that people don't know how to deal with people who are unstable, or some of the society and like kids in school with the bullying and shit. Like, there's bigger problems in society that make people do bad things with guns, or poverty in these places where people are robbing each other all the time. Like, that's the bigger problem. It's maybe, like you're saying, it's maybe not the gun, even though it seems like an easy solution.
That's
it's
a
like,
tool.
You just take the gun away and then the crime stops. Well, no, that's not really how it happens.
Yeah, then they'll use machetes.
Yeah, or something, or bow and arrow, or something, I don't know. Knives, people have knives.
Who knows? I mean, the thing is that we need to fucking learn to love each other, right? and a lot of those crimes, it's people that have some serious shit going on in their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those people, like you said, there's some mental illness things going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of, I think of it, is family who weren't paying attention. Communities that say, oh, we knew something was going on, but no one did anything. Everyone's like, it's someone else's thing to deal with. And it's like, I think if we really learn how to love and embrace this idea of community and like having a tribe again and having smaller, but it's not just like your immediate family takes care of you. It's like there's a bigger group of people and when you recognize things aren't going well, that we have to step up and recognize.
I cannot express it any better, because it just seems for me, I've had a different experience than most people, but when I see these people in the news for doing these terrible things and people say, oh, you didn't see it coming, I'm like, who was talking to this person? Or like, was there anybody like concerned or caring, or like...
I feel like they usually do see it coming, though. There's at least a few people like, oh yeah, he was like this, not... I was like, well, what the fuck?
And it's not like you have to like do a lot. Just talking to somebody and be like, hey, are you okay, or something like that. And I'm a more outgoing person than most, so for me it's not weird to talk to new people. Sometimes it is, but like if I'm in a work environment or I'm around friends, and if somebody was having problems, I'd just be like, hey, what's up? But a lot of people are like, it's none of my business. And then I kind of like, yeah, you want people to have their privacy, but sometimes it is your business, like, to help somebody. That's how I feel. I'm like, it's not a bad thing to help somebody. If you're just trying to look out for somebody, I don't think it's rude to be like, hey, how are you doing? You don't seem like happy right now. Like, how are you doing? And it seems like a weird thing in society today, and that kind of drives me crazy. I'm like, how is that a weird thing? I don't know.
I think
That's my little rant.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think we've lost our compassion for the greater good to a certain degree. And I
don't know
think
if
it's the
even, like-
illusion of, the illusion of independence.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that we're so independent, even though we're so dependent,
Oh,
more
yeah.
dependent than ever, probably. But we think like we don't need each other. Like you don't know who the garbage man is that's picking up your trash. You don't know who the people are that work for the utility company that brings the water. You don't know who the people are that work for the company that brings you electricity. You don't know the people that are helping to raise the produce that shows up at your grocery store on a weekly basis. You don't know all these people, and you all hide behind these screens.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird how it's. I don't want to call it sickness, but the screen thing is kind of a big deal.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a compassion problem. I think it's just kind of, I think when you said that we're all independent, but we don't know how dependent we are, it kind of goes to the gun control thing, where people want to get rid of the guns, we're like, there's no use for this anymore, we should just get rid of them, because we are that dependent on each other. That's the kind of the ironic thing. It's like, oh, we are dependent on each other enough where we don't think we need weapons anymore.
I think we assume that things aren't going to fall apart.
Right.
We don't recognize how fragile this whole system is, and that you recognize, like, you don't want the boogeyman to show up at your door with a fucking shotgun trying to rape your family. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. But if it does, do you want to have that tool to try to defend yourself, or do you just want to go, oh well, shoot me in the stomach and rape my children in front of me?
Oh God.
And you don't want to think about those things, but it's like, I don't think it's fair to take those tools away from someone either.
Right. And yeah, so we are dependent on each other. And if we had a good sense of community, maybe we could stop those criminals from doing such
Or
things.
you recognize those problems before they become problems.
Yeah. But
Because where does crime really come from? I think crime generally comes from a place where people feel like they need to do something in order to survive. Right?
Mhm.
There's some of that.
yeah.
And there's also crimes where people are sick and they're doing something that's it's not even just for money or anything like that. It's just like a sick crime.
Yeah.
And then there's also those emotional responses to situations that come up very quickly, and all of a sudden someone's doing something they didn't mean to do.
Yeah, you get people cheating on each other or something like that.
Yeah, but a lot of
Someone
those,
freaks out.
like if you have a really good culture, a really good family around this, I think that limits that.
Yeah. I think we agree on that, but
I think we should have more guns, and we should teach each other how to use them. And shoot the bad guys.
I'll
Shoot
choose
the bad guys.
I'll choose to say
Shoot the
gun.
bad guys. And shoot the bad guys.
Well, that's the thing.
And shoot the bad guys.
I depend on you, Rodney,
And shoot the bad guys.
to... Oh, damn it, you stopped right while you didn't go. It's been good talking to you, right?
I hate you.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. We got through
It's
it.
so nice out.
It's
kept me
the sun's
inside.
still out. We can go now, walk around our area of the country, buzzed, and eat fast food that we railed against 4 weeks ago.
You did, I didn't.
I love
Or
fast
did
food.
I guess I did processed food.
Yeah. God. Anyway.
Let's just seems crazy. Once a month isn't that bad. Once a month? You eat it more than once a month.
I ate it twice yesterday. Fast food. Yeah.
Twice yesterday?
That's how bad. I know it's bad, but there's days where I'm just like, fuck me, I don't care. All right.
I love whiskey.
Let's go shoot some guns. Now that we're sufficiently drunk, let's go shoot some guns.
Let's go shoot some guns at some fucking things.
Just shoot them in the air and see who runs. You know, that's what we do.
I love whiskey.